Okay, welcome back to another critical thinking episode. This is going to be episode 3, I believe. Today we're going to be playing 3 different matches with the Cossack, or Cossack B in my case. These are all going to be ranked matches. The current rank season is tier 7 and 8. Undeniably, I think that the Cossack is objectively the best tier 8 destroyer that you can use for this for ranked right now. It's got just kind of insane detect at only 5.5 kilometers. It's got 8 guns that fire every 5 seconds. They have I think they've got 20 millimeters of pen on the HE. Decent fire chance at like 9%. They have pretty poor shell arcs and pretty slow, so it's a little difficult to hit targets at range. Fast destroyers at 9 or farther kilometers out, you'll have to be aiming pretty much off the screen to be able to hit them. It can get going pretty fast, but it's the speed that it changes its speed at is pretty poor. So it takes a while to accelerate, a while to decelerate. It does have hydro. That's a 3-kilometer hydro for both torps and ships, I believe. And then it's got 6 short burst smoke screens. So it's got quite a bit of utility. The torps on it has 4 single fire torps. Each torp deals I can't remember exactly how much damage they deal, but they do reload with a base reload of 66 seconds, so you can get them off pretty quickly. You can also single fire them if you want, allowing you to kind of split your targets a little bit. So right here, we just went ahead, we capped I think that was the C cap there, or A cap. Now we're kind of going around and spotting for our team, keeping these 3 ships here spotted. Our friendly aircraft carrier is going to help with that, but there's not always planes sitting over spotting them. So here we had launched a few torps at this Bismarck. Now we're just kind of smoke farming while the aircraft carrier keeps it spotted. We do land 1 torp on it, and we get off a little bit of damage. The enemy DD is over at the contested cap over on the side, which no one from our team went for, along with a tier 7 light cruiser, the USS Helena. So we'll just have to kind of keep that in the back of our head, because that's definitely kind of a significant threat to us, having both of them behind us. But right now, we've got these other ships kind of a lot closer and more of an issue. We launched more torps. It seems like that Bismarck is just hanging out there. Kind of a poor play on his part. Our teammate here, I don't know what he's doing. He's got a death wish. He kind of rushes out completely broadside to all of these enemy ships, and ends up just absolutely getting smashed while he's trying to rush towards the other cap with the destroyer and the light cruiser. So he is not long for this world. Our torps there look pretty good. We might have been able to land a couple more if we had single fired them, but it's always kind of a hard decision whether you want to single fire or fan fire the torps. Just because, if you single fire and you commit them all to, one path, you might totally dev strike a ship or get a lot of damage out on it. But if they don't hit that one little target, then you're going to end up missing pretty much all your torps. So unless I'm pretty sure that I can land all of them, I tend to still stick with fan firing them. Unless I'm firing at a ship that's like right at the max of my torp range. Then sometimes I'll still single fire just to get kind of a tighter spread, but I'll still spread them out a little bit. So yet another ship of ours pushed forward way too aggressively here. He does manage to yoink the kill on that Bismarck, good for him. But about now I realize that Lo Yang is wanting to push up towards us, so I launched some torps in his direction, hoping to catch him. Probably should have launched those a little farther to the left side of our screen there, but I thought maybe he was just going to roll out cautiously around that island. But here I decide that I kind of need to push. I'm a little afraid of getting spotted by this ship here, especially with the Helena there, but we do get spotted. So kind of the best plan here is we've got better gun DPM, so we can take him out. We've got torps kind of going his way, distracting him a bit. But the Helena there is firing at us. That's not too much of an issue because we do have smoke. I initially was trying to kind of kite here enough that we would go dark, but I thought that our team would be helping to finish off this destroyer a little quicker. I didn't want him to get away. We're also hydroed, so sitting in the smoke isn't really going to help us a whole lot. So we keep pushing up here. We do get the kill on that enemy DD, but now we're kind of out in the open and low health. I do damage control there. And right here, all we need to do is go dark, and we should be pretty good. That Helena totally whiffs a whole bunch of shots on us. So if we can just dodge one more salvo, we're good to go. I start slowing down, but he just nails us, so... That was kind of a quick little match. I kind of wanted to show it to you still, just to show off the torps in the beginning, and kind of, you know, the value of spotting for your team and situational awareness. This is a clip from a little later in that match. We're not involved in it, but I figured someone might enjoy this. If you pay attention to our friendly Yorktown there, which, you know, does have planes that have smoke, we've got a... I think that's an North Carolina that's pushing up towards us. And our team is a little outnumbered here, but I actually felt like they could have won this if they played their cards right. But right here, you notice that the Yorktown is kind of full steam ahead, charging towards that North Carolina. I thought maybe he was going to drop like a smoke screen for himself, and I don't really know, but... No, he does not drop any smoke screen for himself. He's just kind of freeballing out in the open there, trying to brawl with this North Carolina. And kind of, as you'd expect, this is going to not end good for him. So, just because you're playing ranked doesn't at all mean that your teammates are of a competitive mindset, because this was definitely a potential match that could have been salvaged and won, but... not at this point. And the Kansas here is about to go down in a moment too, so not a whole lot that we can do. Here comes the Dev Strike, or not Dev Strike, but here comes the shot from the North Carolina here in a second. And... oh, nope, not quite. I think back turret. There we go. Okay, so that match is done. That was a loss on our part. The beginning of the match we played okay, but moving on to this next match here, spoiler alert, it is going to end up being another loss for us, but there are some good lessons to be learned here. So the beginning of this match, we play it pretty perfectly. Here there is another destroyer on our team. 9 times out of 10 when there's 2 destroyers on one team, it's, in my opinion, just safer to stick together. If the 2 of you meet up with the one enemy destroyer, you should easily be able to just blast him out of the water. And then now your team has 2 destroyers to their 1. And then you just quickly need to rush over and hunt down that other destroyer for your team. If neither destroyer goes to the flank that you go to from the enemy team, then you just need to do your best to kind of figure out where they are and go from there. Or if both destroyers go to your flank, then you at least have an even fight. So 9 times out of 10, kind of sticking together when you have 2 destroyers in a ranked match is typically a pretty decent idea, just for that extra gun power. So pushing towards the sea cap here, there are aircraft carriers in this match, so we have to worry about that. The detect by air for the Cossack is 2.5 kilometers, and its max anti-air range is 2.5, so there's no reason in keeping the anti-air guns off. They fire at the same distance as the air detect anyways, so typically I just leave them on for this ship. Our friendly aircraft carrier does spot one of the enemy destroyers over on that side for us, so we at least know what we're going up against. Torp boat with terrible guns. This is kind of a huge misplay on his part here, that he's kind of pushing up in the sea flank so aggressively, especially when he's not really sure yet how many of our team's destroyers are headed this way, if any. But he rolls out 3 point something kilometers in front of us, and he's going to be a goner. So I do turn towards this island here, just because I'm a little concerned about the torp threat that he poses. I do notice that he launches all of his racks of torps right there, so I'm no longer concerned. The guns on that enemy destroyer are no match for either of us, so it's safe here to kind of back up a little bit and then kind of arc back around in front of that island and play a little more aggressively here. Our friendly destroyer should be helping us, is playing very, very passively here. And we'll see that throughout the rest of the match. But it's kind of our job here. We need to hunt down the enemy destroyer and take him out. Looks like he's just sitting there and firing from the smoke, trying to get up some damage. We kind of blind fire here, and we do land one hit on him. I keep trying to yank a couple more blind fires, and I can't remember if we get a few, but either way, any extra damage is always good. Enemy battleships are kind of pushing up here, so we need to kind of move around this island and go from there. Briefly spot that enemy destroyer right there. Perfect broadside shot on him. Take him down to almost no health. Try a blind fire here. We do land a few hits on him, but not enough to take him out. Unfortunately, we block some torps from our friendly teammate. Not too sure where in that smoke the enemy destroyer is, but then he gets spotted. So we start firing at range. He's trying to head straight away from us here. A little difficult to hit targets like this with the Cossack just because of that really slow shell flight time, but either way, that was kind of a perfect play on our part up until this point. So this is not the best. I'm not sure if I could have dodged these torps here, probably, but that one aircraft carrier torp takes out like a quarter of our health, so that's not the best. We do damage control, stop the flooding, and here I get a little greedy trying to smoke farm, not realizing that smoke screen was already gone, basically, even though it visually looks like it's there. So we do get spotted, and we do take a couple of hits, which is unfortunate. Our smoke screen is not up, but we can kind of rush towards this island cover to not be spotted anymore and not take any more hits. It's about now that I realize that the enemy destroyer, the remaining one over there, is kind of pushing up towards our friendly aircraft carrier and our friendly battleship over there. So kind of our job, especially in the Cossack, is to be a destroyer hunter. So I quickly flip around. Our team is fine on that flank. They should be able to steamroll through there on their own, especially with the friendly destroyer that's headed their way. So the best thing that we can do in this situation is try to help our team take out that enemy Benson. We do just not quite, like I said, the Cossack is really slow to accelerate or decelerate, so even though we popped that smoke screen and started slowing down a while ago, we still outpace it and end up taking a couple of hits from Iparanga. We launch some torps towards it, but it speeds up and we end up missing them. Our aircraft carrier's down. We do have a friendly battleship on this flank for the time being, at least. We do just kind of sit here and smoke farm for a little bit, trying to help our battleship survive this engagement. He's kind of struggling here against both the destroyer and the secondary battleship. So we just try to light as many fires as we can, dish out a little bit of extra damage, help him maybe survive this engagement, but it's not looking well for him. So we do spot the enemy destroyer there, but again, at that range, you just have a lot of issues hitting, any destroyer that's making any effort to move or dodge your shots whatsoever. So with the Cossack, it's really uncomfortable to play it against enemy destroyers at anything greater than 8 kilometers away. So you can definitely, pretty comfortably farm battleships and cruisers at that range. Here we do, even though we weren't in smoke, we do stay light and keep firing on that ship, and we were successful in drawing his fire towards us instead of our friendly battleship, but it wasn't enough to save him, and he goes down. So now we're just kind of stuck in smoke, no one's spotting for us, and not a whole lot that we can do on this flank with our low health. I do make a major misplay here. I saw that smoke screen way back there, and kind of just the way that it played out, I thought that the enemy destroyer was, for whatever reason, heading towards A, maybe to help that flank out a little bit, since our team is kind of pushing up on that side. But so I start pushing forward, hoping that I can kind of trail behind them. But instead, he went straight for me, which is a great play on his part. He should have done that because he knew that I was low health and knew that he could probably put me down, which he does. But so we do go down there. That was a big misplay on my part. I've watched this clip a few times, and honestly, whether I survived or not, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of this battle. Our friendly battleship over there is about to go down to the enemy Lexington that has been dead for a while now. So that's going to leave it just our one destroyer and Richelieu against 2 battleships and a destroyer. And as you'll see in a moment here, our friendly destroyer has some skill issues. Ends up going down, trying to open a water gunboat, an unhalt. So, I really don't think there's anything that we could have done, even if we survived this match. You know, even if we took out the Benson and we're still alive, we'd be on such low health. We just wouldn't have been able to turn the tide of this battle quick enough. So this is going to end up being a loss for us. We'll see here in a second that Richelieu rolls around this corner and just eats like 9 torps. Yep, he's gone. And then the friendly destroyer that's left alive is shooting sap at long distance at a heavily armored battleship. So moving on to the final clip, we do have a win here. I really wish I could have shown you some of the other matches that I've had in destroyers this week, but I've had a lot of issue with my recording software. It's either been not recording for some reason, or the video files have been corrupting and only the audio files have been available. So I'm working on that, but this was the first day in the last week that all of the matches that I played this afternoon actually managed to record, and of course then I have skill issues on them. But this match we do play pretty perfectly. We survive till the end, and we do pull off a win. It's not the most exciting match. I had one yesterday I really wish I could have shown you. Probably one of my better ranked matches I've ever had. It was in the Le Terrible. Ended up pulling off 4 kills, 160,000 damage, and 2,800 base XP. It was a very beautiful example of how to play a kind of gunboat destroyer that has really terrible detect and really no smoke, no hydro, we ended up pulling off. We killed 2 destroyers in that match, a battleship and a light cruiser, and definitely carried the match for our team. But here, we're kind of pushing towards the A cap, hoping to kind of contest this here. We do see that the enemy destroyer, the Le Fantastique, is headed in our direction. Our aircraft carrier spots him for us briefly. The Le Fantastique has 6.7 kilometer detect. Pretty good guns, pretty fast too. Okay torps, I guess. That detect, as we're gonna see, is just gonna be kind of a nightmare for that poor ship. So we keep pushing forward here towards the A cap. This is maybe not the best gun engagement for us to be taking, but if you play it right, you can win against like heavy gunboats like this. So we start slowing down, and he totally whiffs his first salvo. That's exactly what you want to do. We start accelerating again. He only lands no hits on us again. We fire at him. We're landing pretty good salvos on him, lighting fires, hitting most of our shots. We're still just speed juking a little bit. I am a little concerned that he's got torps out, but we do have our hydro going. I popped my smoke here just because I'm not sure if those enemy ships over to our left flank can spot us or not, and I want to go dark here. Lots of torps out towards us from the enemy Le Fantastique and aircraft carrier, so I go ahead and push forward here. Also, I kind of wanted to get this and spot him, so we do spot him, and we managed to shoot off a few extra salvos. That was really unfortunate there, that we just quite didn't get the cap before we pushed out of it. But really, I think hunting down and killing this destroyer at the time was seem like a better option. He does end up going dark because he's not foolish enough to fire at us, which was a good play on his part. But our friendly aircraft carrier is still just completely griefing this poor guy. And he doesn't have smoke to escape, so we're going to be able to keep pulling off a few shots towards him. I do think that this is a good play on his part, that he's not returning fire on us, because that would just keep him spotted for longer after our friendly aircraft carrier leaves him alone finally. So, so far he's making decent choices now that he's got low health. He really does need to kind of play carefully and maybe step back from the battle for a little bit. We do push up here just because I want to make sure that we're helping to spot all of these enemy battleships for our team. All 3 of them are here at this cap, along with that Le Fantastique that's low health. And our teammates over at this cap are playing incredibly passive. You know, we've got one battleship that's sitting back pretty far, just like these enemy ones are from the cap. And then we've got another battleship and a cruiser that are just island hugging, and, you know, not even the good kind of island hugging where they can, you know, at least fire on the enemy. They're just flat out sitting behind an island, not really contributing a whole lot to this. We do finally get the cap, launch a few torps out there. I was hoping that maybe this Flander would slow down and we'd land a few torps on him. As you saw, I did single fire these torps trying to get a tighter spread, because it did look like he was going to go behind the island. I think he does kind of turn out here, which is even better for our torps maybe hitting, but I think eventually he just kind of outspeeds them. So not quite sure where this Le Fantastique is at this point in the match, and then that happens. So poor guy, those torps probably just came out of nowhere. He was probably chugging along at like 45 knots and you know, ran into a 1.1 detect torp heading towards him. So happens to the best of us. He had 6,000 something health when that torp hit him. So the enemy destroyer's out of this match. There's really no threat to either us or our team anymore on this flank. These enemy battleships are playing so passively, they're not bothering to push up at all, except for the Zietten that, you know, finally grows a pair and starts pushing up right now. And he'll cause our team some issues, but you know, kind of looking at his gameplay, it was a good play on his part. You know, making a play like that might inspire your team to push up aggressively with you, but yeah, as we'll see here in a moment, his team does not support him at all. I really thought that, you know, our teammates behind that rock were just barely around the corner enough that they might spot that Zietten for us, but they're not. So I was the only one spotting everyone. So I need to back out of the smoke screen here so I can spot them for my team. Not that they're really making much of an effort to do anything here. All those enemy battleships are pretty much full health, even though we've been spotting them the whole match. So it's still no clue what our teammates are doing on this flank. We do land a few hits off on this Zietten here. Light a fire to, I think he DCPs. That was a mistake there, accidentally getting spotted. That was not what I wanted. But it was okay. Our smoke screen still covered us. I do launch these torps here, hoping maybe that Zietten will, you know, change his mind and not play so aggressively. Doesn't quite work out in our favor, but doesn't matter. Right here, I make a cheeky little shot right as we're about to go behind the island. We get spotted for like a split second, but those other battleships won't be able to spot us because we're too far away. And we do get a perma-fire on that battleship, so that will get us some good damage as he's pushing towards our team. That could be a huge issue if he kind of gets in the middle of us here, so we are kind of wrapping around to help support our team on this flank. We don't have to worry about really spotting for our team at all because it's like all battleships on this flank, so our teammates should be able to spot for themselves. So I do not in the slightest bit feel bad about sitting behind friendly battleship in this scenario because they don't need spotting. But anyways, our team is fleeing from this Zietten that's pushing forward and now low health. We do open up fire on him here, and yeah, someone takes him out. Tirpitz takes him out, but so not able to get the kill on him, not able to get a whole lot more damage after that perma fire. Yeah, Our team on the other flank, it's actually being somewhat contested, is having a little bit of issues. We do have the friendly aircraft carrier over there, friendly battleship, and a friendly cruiser. They're getting pushed really aggressively by enemy. I think that's what is that, Congress or something? Anyways, they're getting pushed really, really aggressively over on that flank. I don't know if that's a good play on that enemy team player or not. It ends up working out in his favor, because in a second here, he gets the kill on our friendly aircraft carrier. So maybe that was worth it. I mean, at this point, other than him, their team is just playing so passively that they don't really have much of a chance here, and haven't for a while now. So maybe that is the best play for him. But he ends up getting the kill on the friendly aircraft carrier there, and then he's still just kind of being a menace on that flank. We do launch some torps over at this Colorado here, who's just sailing straight. Got an island behind him, so he can't even really turn much. All he can do is throttle juke here. We open up without even bothering to use our smoke, because Colorado is absolutely zero threat to us when we're full health, even at only like 9 kilometers away, or 8 point something kilometers. That Colorado, even if he tries to fire at us, it's not gonna do much. Even if he hit us with a full salvo of HE, it would take half of our health, but then we'd just get a free AR boost. So he is continuing to sail straight, clueless to the world, no concern of torps. Our torps are closing in on him, and we will land a couple of them here. We do get a perma-flood there and a perma-fire, because he mistakenly DCP'd on the very first fire that I set on him with that very first salvo. So he's done for. He's not going to be able to heal through this. Our teammates are kind of firing on him now. We put in a little bit more damage and ended up getting the kill. And this match is completely a win. We pretty much steamrolled through them, even though I guess we were too passive to really call it steamrolling. We were pretty much the only ones this match that made any effort to somewhat push, and even we played it more passive than we could have. I could have tried to push a little more aggressively towards those 3 battleships that were in front of us a little earlier on in the game, and tried to land some torps on them, but it's you always got to be careful that you don't over push, especially when it was very, very obvious at that point that our teammates were not going to push up with us or support us at all. So once in a while you can bait your teammates into kind of doing a reckless charge with you if you push aggressively, but I kind of felt the room and could tell that this was not the team that was going to do that with me. Kind of wrapping up the end of this match. There's not really any point in firing at this ship yet, because again, our shell flight time is so long that we're not going to hit any of these shells. That ship's going to be long gone. I try to, about now, start making a couple shots, because it seems like he's trying to turn to where maybe he'll be going more perpendicular to us, and we'll maybe land a couple of them, but it doesn't really matter because we're about to win on points. So that's a win for us. Definitely got top score in our team that match. Surprisingly, our friendly aircraft carrier was very, very close behind us, so good on him. I wasn't really paying too much attention to him throughout the match after he helped us spot and destroy that enemy Le Fantastique. So that was definitely a good play on him early on, but he must have continued with the momentum throughout the rest of the match, because even with going down, a couple minutes before the end of the match, he still did really, really good. So good job on him. One of our kills, I mean, we probably would have hunted down that Le Fantastique at some point and taken off the rest of his health, but that one torp hit was really just complete luck. But that's what happens. I guess those weren't even zoning torps. We were actually aiming for something, but when you launch blind torps at something, sometimes you get lucky and get the big win. So did decent damage on that Zietin, helped our team out with him. A lot, most of the health on that Colorado. But yeah, so that's kind of a few ranked matches in the Cossack. This is the Cossack B that I've got. Kind of wish I had the original, but I kind of won this off of, I don't know, some free Black Friday container at some point. Very standard DD armor, nothing special about that. Survivability, a little on the low end. It's only like 18,900. Guns are great, really good HE DPM, really good AP DPM, torpedo tubes. Only 4 torpedoes with that 66-second reload. You can launch them pretty frequently. And they go, that 10 kilometers is enough to work with. But really, that 5.5 detect is, that's the bread and butter of this ship. It's what really makes it good. That and the 8 guns that you get that reload decently quick. Looking at the equipment, absolutely nothing special here. This is pretty standard for what you'd expect for a Cossack build. Looking at our captain build, currently nothing controversial. It wants us to take the increased fire chance. I really don't think that's the best play. And Superintendent especially. If you think about how many destroyer games you live long enough into the match to use up all of your consumables, it's not often. Really, most of the time you end up dying early in the match. So I would really recommend taking either Fearless Brawler or Dazzle. I think Fearless Brawler is probably the better call. I haven't used Dazzle before, but I'm curious on it. But I really think that this build right here is the ideal one that I'm going to end up going with once I finish leveling up this captain. Because, that Fearless Brawler will help us in DD engagements early in the game, and it will help us survive to that late game. And, even if we run out of consumables late game, whoop-de-doo, then we just, play as a torp destroyer for the end of the match. Or kind of sit behind an island and farm as much as we can. So that's my 2 take on how you should build a Cossack, at least. I really don't think that the Superintendent's going to help you out most of the matches that you play. But anyways, this is what we've got. I hope you enjoy, and I will catch you guys in the next episode once I figure out my recording software.